A girl goes on a trip with her family to never return. Just what happened to Stacey Arras? Another person missing in a national park and featured in David Pilotti's book, Missing 411. What is even more peculiar is all the trouble David Pilotti's had trying to get any information on this particular case from the police department. Hi, and welcome to Peculiar Occurrences. I am your host, Lilith Nova. On July 25th, 1981, 14-year-old Stacey Arras from Saratoga went on a horseback riding trip with her father George and 7 others in the Sunrise Meadows area of Yosemite National Park in California. After riding for a few hours, they stopped at some cabins at Sunrise High Sierra Camp, around 3 miles southeast of Tenia Lake, and 1.5 miles from Sunrise Lake. The group decided to freshen up after the ride, having planned on staying the night. Sunrise Camp is 9,400 feet above sea level, and the last one on the 50-mile-high Sierra Camp Loop. 9 cabins provide beds for 34 guests, and it is set against a nice meadow, facing Mount Florence and Mount Clark. Now once they arrived, Stacy cleaned up, showered, and changed clothes. An older member of the group named Gerald Stewart, who was 72 years old, was sitting about 100 feet away from the camp on a boulder. Stacy had told her dad that she was going to go on a walk near where Gerald was sitting to try to stretch her legs after the long horse ride and to also get some pictures of the lovely view. She asked her father if he would like to go with her, but he decided to pass on this occasion. The very last conversation she had with her father, he had advised her to change from flip-flops to boots, and she took him up on his advice. Now everyone saw her as she walked over to the boulder where the 72-year-old man was sitting, and she started to take pictures. Then after a while, she told Gerald that she was going to take a walk to a nearby lake. Now there were 2 ways she could have taken. She could have went to the closer lake that was just a few hundred yards away, called Long Meadow. Or she could have went on a longer walk to Sunrise Lake, which was 1.5 miles away. It was not clear which lake she went to, or which way she took. But Stacy had planned on taking more pictures of the lake, and at first Gerald offered to go with her. But after a little while of walking down the hill, the elderly man felt tired and needed to sit down, and the entire camp witnessed him sit down and Stacy keep going and disappear into the woods. This was the last time Stacy was ever seen. After a while, when Stacy didn't return back, Gerald started to worry, so he got up, made his way back up the hill, and called for help. Everyone gathered their horses and went out looking for Stacy, and after a while of not being able to find her, they came back and requested for a search and rescue team. Gerald had told the park officers that he had actually talked to a group of people that were walking back from the direction that Stacy had gone into, but the group claimed that they didn't see anything. A huge search, including 100 to 150 people, including 67 Mountain Rescue Association members, or MRA for short. The volunteers represented most of the region's team, and search and rescue dogs were deployed over 10 days, concentrating on a 3 to 5 square mile area around Sunrise Lake. 3 helicopters were also used in the search and rescue efforts, including the park's own contact helicopter, spending more than 40 hours up in the air looking for Stacy. But despite all the efforts from search and rescue, the only thing that was ever found of Stacy was her lens cap, and it was found right inside the tree line where Stacy had disappeared. It seems very likely that Stacy was abducted, since there was absolutely no sign of any sort of animal attack. No shredded clothing left behind, nothing from her camera, no blood, anything. Plus, given Stacy's proximity to the camp and the lake, it would be about impossible for her to have gotten lost. The Fresno Bee reported on July 28, 1981 that Stacy was having some sort of home, family, and friend troubles and had been missing her boyfriend. But if Stacy intended on disappearing, why at first did she ask her father to come with her? And two, why did she try to walk out wearing flip-flops? Not very appropriate footwear to walk in, much less run away in. Plus, they had access to horses, so why didn't she try to take a horse to make her trip easier? A very peculiar disappearance in Yosemite Park. Something else very peculiar about all of this is this was a story that was included in David Pilotti's book, Missing 411. When he researched for his books of people going missing in national forest, he collected case files from all over the United States and eventually the world. But from all over the United States, he used the Freedom of Information Act. When David Pilates was researching for Stacey Arras' case, he was actually denied twice for a Freedom of Information request. And during one phone conversation, he was told flat out that he will never get his hands on these files. And this was by the lead detective. The lead detective also broke state and federal law by demanding to know why David Pilates wanted this particular file. They are not allowed to ask that. But yet he did. Why would he do that? I find that quite peculiar. David never got his hands on those files. The man was right. But he was able to get information about this case, and the information that's found here from China Lake Mountain Rescue Group, or CLMRG for short. CLMRG is a non-profit, all-volunteer organization which provides search and rescue services on an on-call basis. The primary mission of this group is to find lost or injured persons over any terrains, whether it be mountains, forests, deserts, you name it. And they mainly serve the California area, but they are willing to travel. The 100 to 150 volunteers that searched for Stacy were mainly from this group, and so far the only ones willing to talk about this case. Stacy was last seen wearing an off-white pullover windbreaker, a white jersey blouse, leggings, gray hiking boots, and also had metal braces on her teeth. She was 5'5" and 120 pounds at the time of disappearance. She was a Caucasian female with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was born on 9/29/1966, and she disappeared on 7/17/1981. And if you or anyone you know have any information about the disappearance of Stacey Arras, I'm going to throw up some information right now to where you can contact them and let them know. So what do you think about this peculiar occurrence? What do you think happened to Stacy? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit my description box for your peculiar occurrence merch. Become a Peculiar Squad member. Also, hit me up on Twitter and Facebook. I'd love to hang out with you in between all this. Hit that share button and share this out to all of your peculiar friends. Hit that thumbs up button if you want to see me do more videos like this. As well, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as my Peculiar Squad. and hit that bell button, or it's like you didn't even subscribe. YouTube will practically not even tell you if I upload. So hit that bell button. And until next time, keep your eyes peeled for all things peculiar. Do 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 do.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.